I was sent this video on Discord, and apparently it's gone super viral. A random skinhead racist had a meltdown in a Halifax Costco. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Halifax is in Canada, like right up on the East Coast, like sort of in the North Atlantic kind of region. So, very weird place to have a racist meltdown, or maybe not so much. It's quite rural after all. But this guy, this really skinhead looking guy, just melted down in Costco and started yelling at this lady for, I think she was Muslim, and he could tell, and he got mad about it. There's a lot to this story, so without any further ado, let's see what happened.
On a busy Saturday at this Halifax Costco, shoppers were suddenly confronted by a tirade of hateful comments.
Go get the here, country mother.
Video recorded inside shows the man.
Okay, I'm not the only one who notices the shoes, right? Why is he wearing, is he LARPing as Billy Butcher from The Boys? Why is he wearing shoes that are like a size and a half, maybe 2.5 sizes too big, while also having seemingly all of the lace loopholes unlaced? So the shoes are just kind of, I feel like someone could just kind of push him from his chest and he would not only fall over on his back, but he would fall out of his shoes. Yeah. I don't know, first thing I notice, not a good look.
Shouting at two women wearing hijabs before shoppers tried to intervene. Then he appears to hit the person who was recording the incident.
Not a good
The man
idea.
goes on to shout racial.
Not a good idea. Not a good idea. That's, that's not the only camera, good sir. Or I should say bad sir. There are cameras in the store. Destroying that guy's property is only going to get you in more trouble.
Slurs and death threats. Police are now investigating what they.
Like, what motivates... you know what? More often than not, racist losers like this are way too afraid to show their faces in public. You know, they would never step out of their little comfort zones and show their faces in public and face the scrutiny of the world. Never ever would they do that, in most cases. This guy actually had the balls to go out into the world and act this way in public. And it quickly ended in him getting arrested and being pretty much the laughingstock of the Costco. Think about that. Every time one of these people are brave enough to act in real life how they do online, they either get arrested or laughed out of the room. And hell, more often than not, they're wearing a mask because they're still too afraid to show their faces and associate their faces and their name and their identity with the things they say.
Alleged to be a hate-motivated assault.
I would strongly encourage anyone who was targeted during that incident at Costco, who was targeted by the suspect, to contact us.
That ask followed by a plea for help in identifying the suspect.
We have to show courage. We have to work together.
Y'all think he's American? Or do you think he's a Canadian? I know the Canadian far right is very, very insane. So he could just be some Canadian far righter. That wouldn't surprise me.
The National Council of Canadian Muslims says it's seeing an increase in Islamophobia.
In the past month or so, we have been getting about 1 or 2 of these kinds of reports from community members across the country per day.
According to Statistics Canada, Nova Scotia has seen a rise in the rate of police-reported hate crimes over the last several years.
So it really shot up in 2023. Something in 2024 seemed to have happened that made it drop a bit, I suppose, but maybe the data, maybe they collected the data in 2024 and it wasn't a complete year of data collection. That could be the case, but still, this is pretty worrying. What happened in 2023 that would have contributed? Is it October 7th? Did October 7th result in like a crazy spike in Islamophobic hate crimes in Nova Scotia that's still kind of lingering? That's the only thing that would really make sense looking at this timeline.
In 2023, it recorded the highest rate in the country. In 2024, the second highest.
The mass majority of Canadians, and specifically Nova Scotians, they're not like that.
For Imam Mahmoud Omar.
Yeah, like Alberta and Nova Scotia, these are really rural areas of Canada, and I know in the case of Alberta, they're so right-wing that America is trying to do a Russia-style psyop to Albertans in Canada to propagandize them into having a favorability towards seceding from their union and joining the United States. I'm not joking that, like, if you're a Canadian You probably already know it, but if you don't know this and you're Canadian, look into it. They're trying to make these Albertans into Minnesotans, pretty much.
These kinds of incidents do not reflect the country he knows and loves.
We're all Canadian here, Muslims, Jewish, Christianity, Buddhism, everyone. We live in harmony here. So again, do not let anyone divide us here.
As police continue to investigate, he's inviting everyone to visit his mosque and learn about Islam. Selena Alders, CBC News, Halifax.
So, I've got good news. That is not the end of the story. Their investigation turned something up. What it turned up was the exact guy in question, who is now being charged and facing justice. So I thought, with that in mind, why don't we go ahead and see a little bit of an update on the situation. This came out just a few hours ago. This is fresh off the presses.
Okay, there's some developments on a story we've been covering earlier in the day. It concerns a man who was caught on camera allegedly yelling.
That's wild considering Minnesota is progressive.
Well, you know, they want to turn Alberta into part of the Midwest. There's this, like, I think one of the right-wing talking points is something like, we're more Midwest than we are Canadian. We're more American Midwest than we are Canadian, or something like that.
Racial slurs at a family. The incident happened in a Halifax Costco store last weekend. The man has now appeared in court, and CBC's Darren McCaffrey is on the story for us. So, Darren, tell us about this new development.
Yeah, this involves Randall Bryan Publicover, who essentially appeared in that courtroom a little earlier on today. It was a brief appearance. We believe he is going to deny or plead not guilty to all the charges he has faced.
I mean, I know of course he's going to do that, but not only was he caught on video doing it, multiple video feeds, no doubt, because, you know, security camera and the guy who recorded him, but then he attempted to assault the guy who was recording him. Like, you could not have a better piece of evidence of this guy either attempting or doing the assault than his fist, or I should say elbow, because he kind of elbows the guy, his elbow flying at the camera. You know, like, it's pretty obvious what happened.
He has been released on bail. Let's talk you through some of the bail conditions that have been put in place for this suspect. They include a financial obligation, as you can see, of $2,000 there. In addition to that, he's not allowed to possess any firearm, crossbow, or a prohibited weapon or restricted weapon. And also, he is not allowed to go.
I'm pretty sure, though, in Canada, if you've, like, littered before, you're not allowed to own a gun or any crossbows or anything like that.
Within 50 metres of the Costco in Halifax, or indeed any mosque or Islamic community centre.
That's a based law, dude. Do we not have a law like that, where if somebody is found guilty of, like, a hate-motivated crime or hate-motivated harassment, that they get essentially a restraining order against, say, mosques if they're super anti-Muslim and they've committed crimes motivated by that anti-Muslim hate before? Do we have laws like that in America? Because, like, I know we've got, like, oh, yeah, if you're on the sex offender registry, you can't go near a school. Why do we not apply that to other crimes, you know? Like, if a guy has a history of getting arrested because he attends anti-Semitic marches, we should make it so that that guy, when he gets arrested, he's no longer allowed to go within 1,000 feet of a synagogue. That should be a thing we do already. Man, Canada is cooking with that rule.
In and around the Halifax area. Now, this all follows an incident actually last Saturday in which he allegedly abused and yelled at and assaulted customers inside that Costco. We're going to show you a little bit of the video now, and just to say that it does contain some offensive language.
Oh, I'm sure it does. Oh yeah, it's the actual video.
Now, following this, the police were called to that Costco in Halifax, though the man had already been escorted from the store. He was then actually arrested.
You can see he like looks embarrassed. You can see he looks too nervous. I almost feel like he expected claps or cheers by this point. Like, a lot of racists unironically believe that they're part of the silent majority. And so I think he expected everyone to actually start cheering him on or joining in with him. And so when he got told off and all he could really do was walk away, and he was being recorded by someone too, You can tell. Watch his face.
The man had already been escorted from the store. He was then...
That's like the face of somebody... Like, this is the face you make after someone walks by and says, good morning, and you say, good afternoon, and it's morning. Or the guy says, enjoy your pizza, and you say, you too. Fuck. Like, that's the face you make afterward. He is embarrassed. Genuinely embarrassed, and that embarrassment turns into anger, and that anger turns into...
She arrested on Thursday afternoon, and at that time he allegedly brandished a weapon, and officers actually had to use a taser to subdue him. As say, the police investigation...
Oh, he's in deep shit now then.
Investigation is continuing, and we are expecting this court...
So when they found the guy to try and arrest him, he pulled out a weapon. The cops had to disarm him. He's in deep shit. He's in such deep shit, bro.
And this case to resume on September 3rd at Halifax Provincial Court.
It's such a disturbing story. Every time I see that video, Darren, it's bad. And this is happening at a time where we're continuously reporting on a rise in hate-related crimes and a degree of racism that seems to be increasing, at least publicly. Talk to us about that and what you're hearing.
Yeah, it's very clear.
Sorry if you're hearing that loud squeak, it's the video. I don't know what the deal is with all these mainstream news outlets and their YouTube uploads where they just can't get the video and audio right. Like, I say this is just a guy who has managed to, I think, make my audio better than these outlets. I don't know how they're doing it. Hire me, okay? CNN. I could produce your content for you better than whoever's doing it now. Like any of these outlets, CNN, NBC, CBC, fucking all of them, ABC, all of these outlets have terrible editors and terrible, like, whoever it is behind the scenes, interns or something, uploading their clipped content onto YouTube. It's so low quality. I feel like every time we cover something like this, I have to point it out, but...
That when you look at that video and elsewhere, these are not necessarily isolated incidents, that there has been...
Patches-looking man about to stab me in the back.
Oh my god, he does look like Patches from Dark Souls, right? Oh my god, he kind of... He looks like he's about to tell you in a giddy... Well, not him, but like the dude. He kind of looks like Patches. Oh man, never trust Patches. Actually, always trust Patches.
An increase, it seems, in what the police term hate-motivated incidents. If you look at the stats, we've got some stats, I think, from Statistics Canada, and they show that increase, actually, over the last couple of years, most notably in 2023, when Nova Scotia had the highest of any province in Canada. Even in 2024, it had slipped back, thankfully, a bit, but it was still the second highest in the country. And unsurprisingly, communities in Nova Scotia are concerned about all of this, but we spoke a little bit earlier to Mahmoud Omar. He's one of the imams in Halifax, and he wanted to emphasise that this is not a reflection of all the people who live in that province.
Mass majority Canadians, and specifically Nova Scotians, they're not like that. So if it's a one incident,
I mean, yeah, like, even in some of the most rural parts of Canada, that dude was in the Costco acting that way, and everybody was cringing at him. He was not in the majority in that Costco at all, you know? No one there was going, yeah, rah, you tell him, man. No one was doing that.
Or so on, rare when it happens, but still happens. But in general, we're not showing there is no fear to be talking about, or, again, we live in a very, beautiful society and beautiful people, Canadian people.
So the message there is, as I say, it's not reflective of all society, but there's clearly concern about the police in regards to the number of incidents. In regard to this
God, I love their written language. Yeah, me too, Vault Hunter. I'd love to learn to speak Canadian one day.
Particular case, the police are also still appealing for people to come forward who may have been in that Costco in Halifax last Saturday. If they've got any information that could help this case, the police are pleading for that.
CBC's.
Listen, man, that guy, he's screwed. He's in some serious trouble. We're talking about the Canadian courts here. All right, that guy is not going to get off this easy. We're not talking about the American courts and the American police system, American prison system. That guy's probably not even going to be well liked in Canadian prison. I feel like, is there even like racial gangs in Canadian prisons? There probably are, to be honest. There probably are. They're not that friendly up there in Canada that their prisons are even friendly. I mean, maybe they are. I might be totally... Maybe Canada really is just like all the stereotypes. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video and this segment, if you found it entertaining, educational, or enjoyable in any way whatsoever, then please leave a like and a comment down below. It really helps a lot and it's totally free. Subscribe and ring the bell icon if you want to see more from me, and I hope to see you again in the next one.